Not taking care of yourself is the most selfish thing that you can do, and it can destroy your business. Today's episode is brought to you by MyGoSite, where you can build funnels and website all from one location. Easy to use, drag and drop builder. Build your first funnel today. Fully customized checkout experience, 14-day free trial, no credit card needed. Welcome back to today's episode of Clicks and Bricks. Today, my name is Ken, and I've got Coach T with me today. He has created the SPED System. How are you doing today, Terry?
I'm doing awesome, man. I'm doing really well. I'm glad to be here.
So you've created the SPED System, which is a system inside of, is it a separate standalone system inside of your existing gym, or is this a brand new, or not a brand new thing, but it's a standalone system?
It is inside of our standalone. It's inside of our gym. It's something that we just created. It's a program, and it's a huge program, and it deals with a lot of different variants, from assessments to recovery to it's a total package type deal. Okay,
so and I've seen a whole lot of different, like 75 hard, 90-day challenge. I've done 100-day challenges, things like that. Is this similar to something like that, or is this more of a lifestyle change?
This is more of a lifestyle. This is more. This is everything. This is our life. This is a lifestyle. This is what we don't just want a 75-day challenge or
right.
Like, we want a lifestyle. We want a whole shift. You know what I mean? On both aspects, from a fitness standpoint, from an athletic performance standpoint, we want everything to be a complete shift of your entire life. Not just for, 60 days, I'm done. Okay, let me go back to my normal, regularly scheduled program. So,
right.
Yeah.
Now, have you seen the 75 Hard program?
I have seen it. I have not. I saw it. Someone was doing it. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I remember every day she was posting it, and I'm like,
it's tough.
Right.
It's tough. My wife did it, and it is challenging. I do like that they have, some time off, and then they have other challenges after the 75. But you said something very specific that I want to dive into, and you said the word recovery. And so frequently is recovery talked about when we talk about fitness. And I know that the obvious health, diet and exercise are your your biggies, and everybody talks about those, but very few people are talking about recovery. Can you tell us why? And you didn't put that at the end of something. You said it in your top 2 or 3 things. So can you tell us why that's so important to you and why you think it's important to your fitness journey?
Well, because how can you perform without recovery? You know what I mean? Like, there's no way to perform at your height. If you're going to go, think about the what you call the 75 hard challenge, right?
Right.
Hard. Keyword is hard, right? That's the key word there. So you got 75 hard challenge. So if you're going to give your all every single day, recovery is going to be important. You know what I mean? Recovery is going to be something where, and when you spoke about, you said nutrition and everything, right? That's a part of recovery. People don't realize that that's a huge part of your recovery. When you eat, we deal with every demographic, right? From in our fitness realm, in our athletic performance realm, we deal with every demographic. And that has been, the recovery part and the nutrition part are the 2 hardest. I tell people all the time, your biggest supplement that you could ever take, whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you're trying to gain muscle, whether you're trying to become the fastest athlete alive, is sleep. You got to recover. And
I thought you were going to say water, but you're right. Sleep is.
But water too. But sleep is your number 1 recovery. It's, when you go on the internet, or when you go in stores, period, and you have these what are they called? The HGH and stuff like that you're buying over the counter. All that stuff really is doing is making you go to sleep. The deer antlers, they make you go to sleep so that you can recover better. And that's one of the things to go along with stretching. I don't understand when people don't stretch after a workout. I am 45 years old. If I do not stretch out of a workout, I'm going to sleep in the car because I'm going to cramp up. I'm going to be locked up. And so therefore, I'm just not going to, and so what's going to happen the next day if I have to go hard, right? If I'm going hard the next day, if it's especially my next day's leg day, you know what I mean? Like, I still have to make sure that I'm ready to go. I learned that a long time ago. I learned a lot of things a long time ago as an athlete, collegiate athlete. And I remember about to go pro, and I would always wonder why my coach, he would always stress, hey, look, make sure you're eating this and make sure you guys are getting sleep. Like,
right.
No going out and partying. Like at my school, Thursday nights was a big party night.
Right.
But my coach made sure that our heaviest squat days was Friday. Why did he do that? Because he knew, hey, you're not going to go out on Thursday and come in here and expect to squat 300, 400 pounds for 5 reps. No. You know what I mean? And so that's why the recovery is so big. And I think people just think, oh, it's just about, stretching or foam
right.
rolling or whatever. Or, hey, I'm 22 years old. I can go out here and not do it. Yes,
yeah.
You still have to recover. So, yeah.
I thought Coach gave us those leg days on Friday so we didn't go all weekend chasing the girls.
But you ain't chasing it. Well, you weren't chasing anything. You weren't running, but you wanted to be asleep. You might come out of that coma on Sunday. And by Sunday, you're not doing anything. Trust me.
So, fantastic. Now, why is this important and how do you relate it to business? I think it's wildly important. I think that, and now I'm a hustler. I have multiple jobs. I'm currently active in 4 different jobs, right? And I work a good 16 hours a day. But I don't look at it work at all. I'm just having a good time, right? I'm doing the stuff that I want to do. So, but I get my 8 hours of sleep every single night. And I think in business, this hustle culture, it's important. You have to hustle. You have to stay hungry, right? But this hustle culture of, wake up at 4 a.m., 2 hours of sleep, I think it's dangerous and it's not responsible. So it is, if you're a business person, and yeah, you can get away with this shit in your 20s. Like, you can push it and get 3-4 hours of sleep a night. But I promise you, if you're doing that, the day you hit 40 in business, your body is going to fall apart. You're going to find yourself in the hospital, and your whole company is going to be in jeopardy because you're not there to run it, right? Your employees are scared because they don't know what's going to happen. All of these things because this damn hustle culture says the other guy's not sleeping, you got to hustle harder. Right. Hustle while you're awake, but take care of your body, right? This is not a game to play with, right? It's important stuff. Exactly. And getting the proper amount of sleep. Yeah, if you want to wake up at 4:30, go to bed at 7. That's okay, right? But I go to bed at midnight every night, and I wake up at 8 every single day, right? Like clockwork. And my mind and body is so much better for it, right? And the sleep is huge, and I have my supplements to help me sleep as well. But we take our sleep very, very. My wife takes her sleep more seriously than I do. But I've gotten to the point that I know that it's important, and I do it every single day, and I get my 8 hours, and I make it a priority. And I don't come to work until it's done. So that's simple. I don't go home until I've had my workout, and I don't go to work until I've had my 8 hours of sleep. So it's very, very important. So fantastic. Great job putting this together. Is this the SPED system? I mean, you're an elite athlete. Is the SPED system for elite athletes, or is it for everybody?
It's for everyone. The one thing that we're doing now is starting to expand. January is going to be one of our biggest months where we're going to start our Train Like an Athlete. We're really going to push that really hard, the Train Like an Athlete program, because we were speaking before. A lot of people want to, and we do have a lot of clients, the parents of our athletes, our high school or our college athletes. They're like, hey, do you do personal training? Well, yeah, we do it this way, and this is how we do it. It's not your standard, okay, let's do this. And,
right.
You know what I mean? It's going to be a lot of the things that we do for our athletes because, let's face it, like our pro guys, right? So if we're doing pro guys, we're going to treat them like they are a Maserati. You know what I mean? We're going to make sure that they're eating the best foods. We're going to make sure that they're getting the best training. We're going to make sure, everything down to the last detail. Well, why can't we do that for the fitness people? You know what I mean? Like I used to work in a major box gym, and I know how the personal training departments used to run. And you had trainers who really cared. And you had trainers who were just like, whatever. They're pulling workouts off of online. Like, okay, let's do this. I'm like, okay, but what else are you doing? Are you going above and beyond? And that's something where when we say, okay, we're going to do this SPED system thing, we're going to start it with our athletes. We're going to push it towards towards the other demographics, so that we can say, hey, you're going to feel, we're going to make, recovery is going to be a big thing. Our training is going to be a big thing. Our nutrition is going to be a big thing, right? And so, hopefully we get those people who want to come in and they want to, I'm not saying that we're going to go in and be doing, 225 pound deadlifts, 225 pound hang cleans, right, or anything like that. But they're going to get a chance to do things that they see these athletes do, and to be able to have a chance, to have the recovery, to have the nutrition, and be treated the exact same way. Some of our people that we're partnering with in Florida, in South Florida, where they run basically, it's they help you to figure out what minerals that you're missing in your body. Everyone's missing minerals in their body that come, that basically will help you to have less injuries, help you to have less pulls, help you to feel better. And so we wanted to push that. We say, hey, look, we've done a lot with our athletic performance and with the athletes. Let's push it now to our fitness guys, and let's be better than, say, any other regular personal training studio. And so we want to treat them the same way. Yeah, we're still going to deal with the demographics of the people who are coming off of injuries and things like that. We deal with a lot of those from the general population, as we like to call it. But now, we want those people. Hey, we want those people that say they want to take they want to level up a little bit in their fitness. And so I think that's where we wanted to broaden out this program.
And this is a show about business, not too much about health, but really quick, I just want to touch on just the kind of levels. In my opinion, it's kind of like, the average consumer is diet and exercise, they're calorie counters, right? And then you take a level up and they're macros, right? They're protein, fat, and carbs. And then you take the next level up and you're diet, exercise, macros, and micros, which is those minerals, right? Which are wildly important. Because if you don't have magnesium, your muscles don't absorb the protein to even grow your muscles, right? And and we have no magnesium left in our meat. Like, it's gone. We've completely destroyed it. So you have to have a magnesium supplement in today's world, or you're going to be stuck, right? So all these people on the planet right now are stuck in these places. They can't. And they're like, I'm doing the diet, I'm doing the exercise, I'm in the calorie deficit. I can't figure any of this shit out. What am I doing wrong? If you're there, it's probably a macro issue. Or a micro issue, right? It's your magnesium, it's your potassium, it's all of those things. If your diet and exercise is right, then look at your macros, and they're
it's
important stuff, folks. Unfortunately, it's there, right? But then I see that when we're getting to like performance athletes and things like that, they're really looking at every little piece of those.
Every little thing. You have to look at every little thing, and so it has to be the same way in our general population as well, right? And it's just that's just how it has to be, and we try to take it in. When we say we build a complete athlete, we want to do the exact same thing for our general pop. We want to build a complete person, right? And so that's how we want to do it. Running
a business, I believe you need to be training like an athlete. I totally believe this, because the endurance that it takes, the mindset that it takes, all of those things to run the business are very similar to the athletic world, right? So even in a professional athlete world. I mean, I know, because we put about the same amount of hours in, right? A professional athlete is exercising, he's in the gym 6 to 10 hours a day, right? Every single day. And you're in your business 6 to 10 hours a day. You're looking at your magnesium, you've got to be balancing your checkbook, you got to know your numbers, right? All of these things they're wildly correlating to each other. So, and I almost lost my life running businesses and not taking care of my body. So if I could preach one thing to all business owners is pause what you're doing and look at yourself really, really close, because if you're wanting to build a legacy, you have to take care of your health, right?
You have to take care of it.
It's the most important thing.
Right. At some point, right? Like, I would love for my business to reach this multi-million-dollar level, right? I would love for it to do so. But guess what else I would love for that to happen? I would love to enjoy it.
Yes.
Okay? As much as I want to leave it for my daughter, as much as I want to say, hey, when I'm gone, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have the opportunity, the freedom to be able to do what, because we have accumulated good wealth. However, I still want to be able to enjoy it. I still want to have that. I want to be able to enjoy it, not to either be, sitting or laying in a hospital bed or worse, right. 6 feet underground, because I worked myself to the bone for something I could not enjoy, right? I could not enjoy the fruits of my labor. I want to be able to do that. And you hit on a perfect thing where business owners have to really take care of themselves. You not to go too much into it, but like when you talk about that hustle culture, that's exactly what it is. Like I was one of those guys. I'm one of those guys where, I feel like I always have to be doing something. When sometimes being still, recovering mentally and physically is the best tool for you to be able to step back, look at things and say, that's not going to work. Now I can really focus. I can really hone in on it instead of trying to, take a 6-pack of Red Bull to the head and be like, I gotta stay there. Hey man, I gotta. And business owners really have to understand this. Like, we train a ton of business, from the fitness side. We train people, we train CEOs, we train people who are, in Virginia alone, we have one of our clients and his house is amazing, right? His house is amazing. He's an elevator in his house. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. And he owns different businesses, but he doesn't get to it. He's always canceling. He's always doing this. And he's always, oh man, I can't make it and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, you got to make an hour for yourself.
Right.
Like you do. You know what I mean? An hour of training, and then basically, and recovery. That's your thing.
Well, and as a business owner, it's your job to take care of your body. It is your job to take care of your body as a business owner. Otherwise, you're not being a good leader. You're setting a bad example for your staff, your employees, your wife, your kids, everybody around you. If you're not taking care of yourself, at least making conscious efforts to do so, you're not doing your job. It's that simple. Yes. You're not taking care of yourself. And I know it sounds crazy, but when you walk into a bank to get a loan and the bank looks at you and it's like, man, I don't think he's very fit and healthy, you're not going to get the money. You go to a VC firm and you're not fit and healthy, you're not, like, I know it's horrible and it's stereotyping people and all of this stuff, but I promise you, the fit person that walking in that has the same pitch as you is going to get the money before you do if you're not a healthy person.
It's the world we live in now, and that hustle culture. It's why also too, like our corporate, fitness, it's COVID. It took a hit during COVID, of course, but before, we were pushing that because we were like, look, how are you going to be, how are you going to have a successful company if your employees aren't happy, if your employees aren't fit, if your employees are eating like crap, if your employees aren't exercising? You know what I mean? We had this one thing with this one company where we would have consultations with them each week. Like we would have a sign-up sheet, say, hey, look, anybody who needs any type of fitness advice, nutrition advice, sign up on here. And that thing will be filled from the time, I think it was we ran it from 12 to 3 on Tuesday, Thursdays, and it was 15-minute consultations. That thing would be filled up because everybody wanted to know, how do I do this? How do I do this? Because they were getting worked to the bone, right? They're getting worked to the bone. They're tired. They can't enjoy their weekends. They can't enjoy the time with their kids when they get home. And I'm like, you can't run a business that way. You know what I mean? That you just can't.
You can't.
So, yeah.
And on the recovery side,
it starts at the top.
On the recovery side, I have the best marketing ideas and the best conclusions to problems in my sauna time and my meditation time. Yeah. Hands down. When my mind is clear and I'm in the sauna and I'm just clear in my mind, it's like all those problems, the solutions just pop in your head. Like they're there. You just got to clear your mind and let them come.
Let me tell you something. The biggest thing that changed everything for me is really the meditation that I started. And I started it I started January 2020. I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I read this book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And I started meditating. And January, February, and of course, pandemic goes into full swing in March, right? So everybody's freaking out. Hey, what am I gonna do? You know, all this other stuff. My gym's closing and blah, blah, blah. And I was at peace. And I had this peace, I had this clarity, and I pivoted my business quickly without even panicking. And it was crazy because I was like, oh shoot, you know, what's gonna happen here? But I pivoted quickly, and we had, in 2020, we had one of our most successful years we have had because, and like I said, started at the top because I was meditating. I was clearing my head. I was taking care of the boss so that the boss could think of what other ideas, you know what I mean? How can we do this? And not panic and not freak out and not, you know, worry about where money's going to come from. But it really just helped me to do that. So that meditation part, that is a huge part.
It absolutely is. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a big part of my life now. Like literally, my wife texts me if she thinks that I've had a bad start to my day. Like she knows I woke up a little late or something like that. She'll text me like, "Did you get to meditate before you went to the office today?" And I'll either say yes or no. And she's like, "Make sure you do that before we go to bed tonight, right? Because it's really, really important to stay in your current mindset, in your current place." And stay conscious of what's going on and really understand. And then having a clear mind in a conscious mind, not an unconscious mind, I think is wildly important for business owners to be able to really navigate these waters and kind of see what's going on. And there's all kinds of other stuff inside that realm. But, you know, this is not a spiritual show. It's a business show. But I think these things are very, very important for your business if you're going to really take it to the next level. So we are pretty deep in, and we haven't even gone to what is your founder story. So how did you, and I think we can start with, you know, where you decided that, hey, you're going to open the SPED system and then implement that inside of your existing business, because you've had that business for a while. And you can talk about that, your starting business, and then all the way till now.
Of course. So let's see. I moved when I was done playing football. When I was done playing football, I played at the time I was playing arena football, and arena football was getting pretty big. But I was just not, you know, I was about 30 years old. I was like, okay, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. All right.
You know, when I was a kid, I announced some arena football.
Oh, you did?
I did. I was for the St. Louis Stampede.
Okay.
That was
when I played, it was really, like, you know, it started really growing. And I remember, I think it was, I can't remember which picked us up first. I think it was either NBC picked us up first, then ESPN picked us up. And then, so money started getting a little bit bigger. Not like NFL money, but hey, you're making 60, 70K for 17 weeks. I'll take it. Right. But it got to a point where I said, okay, what am I gonna do for the rest of my life? I had already had one big significant injury. I had a tib fib break 2 years prior to me retiring, and I said, okay, well, what am I gonna do?
Tibia and tibia, both. You had both.
And tibia. Oh yeah,
Woo!
It was bad.
That's bad.
Buddy.
Yeah,
it was bad. And so I asked myself, I was like, okay, you know, I literally walked away from a contract, and I said, okay, well, I don't. You know, I let me think about it. And I said, and I told my agent, I said, if it's not the NFL, I'm not. And it was like, okay, cool. 30 years old. I was like, all right, what am I going to do now? I literally started selling cell phones. I worked for a company down where James Madison is, and James Madison University in Harrisburg, Virginia. I worked for this company called Intellos at the time. And I was like, and, you know, it's sales money. It was decent money. It was whatever. It wasn't what I wanted to do. Decided to move to DC, became a personal trainer, but it was always something ingrained in me saying, okay, if I'm going to do this personal training thing, I want to start my own business. So I learned the ins and out of the business side of personal training through the company that I was working for. Then I started my company in 2008, and I remember starting, and it's called, I called the company Evolution Performance, and Evolution Performance Training, actually.
Right.
And that was the umbrella. That was going to be the umbrella company. And I had all these different ideas. Started off with 4 kids training them, doing speed training with 4 kids. And at the time, I had a torn Achilles tendon. I tore my Achilles tendon in May.
That's
playing basketball. I tore my Achilles tendon in May, And I think that was God's way of saying, sit your butt down on this couch and write this business plan out. And so I wrote this business plan and I started this company, 4 kids. I was barely making maybe $800 a month. And that in the Northern Virginia area, that gets you nowhere. So I'm like struggling. And then all of a sudden 2009 hits and the ball just starts rolling. It starts going good. So then we were doing a lot of fitness. We were doing a lot of fitness at the time. And then after that, it was, okay, we started going to athletic training or training athletes a little bit more. So we had a pretty good balance of both. And it's just me. I'm running the show. Like, it's just me. I'm a one-man band. I'm playing the drums. I'm the lead singer. I got the guitar. I got the bass. I got everything, right? I got the trumpet if I needed, the harmonica. Whatever needed to be done, I had it. And so, it was great. I was successful in everything. And things started happening. But I wanted to also, every time I would have an idea, I would always jot it down. And I would, if I go back into my Google Drive and look at my Google Docs from like 2012, I'll start seeing ideas that I had that are coming to fruition now. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So, but the biggest thing was, I said, okay, we want to be different. We want to be able to have something that's different, to offer something different. Everybody has the same type of formula, so to speak. And at the time, especially from the sports performance side, it wasn't as huge as it is now. So we had a few companies in DC that were bigger companies, and we just came in and started doing stuff, and then we created the SPED System. The SPED System started coming because I said, okay, well, we want to do things differently from the sports performance side. We want to be a little more different in the sense of we want to be able to test, and we want to be able to customize their programs, and we want to be able to work with different people. We want to teach them different things, and kind of what was taught to me as an athlete. And then I said, okay, so then we created, I finally got the whole thing together and said, okay, so about 4 or 5 years ago, I said, all right, I'm ready to launch this program. I got the protocol. I have everything that we need. And boom, there it was. And so all of a sudden, we were doing pretty well. Doing pretty well, but we were pretty stagnant in that sense, right? Like, so we're still doing fitness. We're still doing this. And then, like I said, I think it was last year, 2020, we created a whole separate page on Instagram for just the SPED System alone, and started posting videos and things like that. And, let me do this and talk about this and all this other stuff. And I'm not a huge social media guy. I really feel weird in front of the camera when it comes to social media. But, and I noticed we started gaining a little traction. Then when we started training again, I think it was late April, we started gaining more traction because people were at home. So that's all they were doing. And so we started gaining more and more traction, and to the point where we've gotten to now where, we went from 200 followers maybe by April or May of 2020 to now we're at, we've been blessed to be at like 20, I think we're at 21, almost 22,000, right? And I'm like, okay, these are all organic, and it's crazy to me. But and it was something I said, okay, we need to do more. We need to be able to bring a little bit more to this table, because we have so many competitors. We have so many people in fitness, in sports performance, who wants to do both, but how can we be different? And I think our formula for being different is just attention to detail, being as raw and organic as we can, not really, if you look at our videos, we don't put music to our videos like a lot of people do. It's me screaming at the top of my lungs. And so being excited. Right. And, but it is what it is. And I can't say enough, like, from the business side of how well we have done. And I think it just comes from, it really just comes from the actual, really just came from believing in myself. You know what I mean? And betting on myself and saying, hey, look, I'm not gonna bend to the trends of the industry's fitness or sports performance. I'm gonna do what I feel is good.
I love that phrase, and the only way to be different is just be yourself, right?
Yep.
Just be yourself, do the shit that you like to do in the way that you like to do it, and authenticity will shine, right? And people just like that a lot. So I think that's wildly valuable advice. Thank you for your story. Very much appreciate it. I think if you're a business executive and you're looking for a health wellness program, you're watching the show, Coach T is giving a pretty cool offer. He's going to do a free consult to anybody. And where do they find that information at?
You can go on our website. You can go on www.speedsystem.co. And you also can go and you can go on our website. You can, drop us a line, say, hey, I'm interested in, the free consultation for fitness. So I'm interested in a free consultation. Hey, I got a kid who needs some speed. I can do that too.
Right.
Hey, we're in corporate business and we need help. You know what I mean? We got people who are falling asleep on the job. Can you help us? Yeah, of course I can. So that's one of the things that, so you can do that, and we also will offer our first session for free. Whether it be fitness, whether it be our sports performance, whether it be our corporate wellness, just to kind of get into so that we can get the ball rolling. The biggest thing what we want to do is help.
And in today's world, where people are working from home more and more, so just think about these numbers. And you're a business owner, and different business owners have different philosophies on how they're going to manage their staff, right? But we want to have efficiency from our staff mostly. So an employee at your office only works 80% of the time that you're paying him to work. And and I don't know if they have the statistics yet of how many hours a person working from home is, but I know my effort at home, working at home versus working in the office, is wildly different. I think maybe 40% of the same amount of workflow gets done if I'm working from home, if I'm working from the office. So I think, mindset and speed, nutrition, and all of these things are important for your staff as well. So, because if they're in the good mindset and they're healthy people, they can be more efficient. Not only that, it's just the right thing to do for your staff. If you're a leader, letting your staff know that fitness and wellness is important is an important thing for you to do.
When you're a leader and letting them know that, hey, I care about you, right? I care about you. And even if it's something you're giving them this opportunity, you're giving them this amenity saying, hey, look, I want you to be the best version of you mentally, physically, spiritually, right? I'm a huge person when it comes to the brain. I love the brain. Okay, I want to tap into more stuff where I can make stuff move in my mind like a Jedi or something like that, if that's possible, right? But my biggest thing is but when we talk about the brain, we talk about making sure if you're letting your employees eat like crap, right? Gut health is important because that's your neurotransmitters to your brain. So if they're eating like crap, at home, or even if they come to the office and they don't know what to eat, they're just eating donuts and things like that. Well, guess what? That insulin level is going to shoot up, okay? They're probably in a high stressful environment, right? So now you got that concoction that's going to make them really either shut down, okay, anxious, depressed. Now you don't have happy employees. You know what I mean? Like one of the was it Virgin? Virgin is probably one of the best companies they said to work for because they have their own, they have everything. Everything's
personal chefs and stuff, right? Yeah.
Right. Everything's in house. So of course they're going to be happy about that.
And
so yeah.
I think that an easy way to think about it is if your employees aren't healthy and you're promoting an unhealthy lifestyle inside your business, it would be like putting dirty oil in your car.
How can you make How can your business grow? How can your business grow? Right? Like I tell my staff this: I want the what is it? The 92. I want the dream team. I want the original dream team. That's what I want. I don't want no knockoffs. I want the original dream team. And the only way I'm going to get the original dream team is to make sure that all of my employees are happy, all of my employees are doing the right things to take care of themselves, so that if they take care of themselves individually, as a team, as a business, we are going to grow. Right. And that's something that, you can say, well, Coach T, you're in the health and fitness business. You're in the athletic performance business. Of course, it's your job. Well, guess what? As a boss alone, even if I owned a tech company, it's my job to make sure that my employees are well taken care of because they're protecting my baby, my brand.
Exactly. And I don't know when it came to me finally, and it took me longer than it probably should have, that the customer comes first, because I'm a very customer client centric person. And at some moment, I don't know when it happened for me, and it's probably still happening, is that I've transitioned from, no, my employees are first, right? That's my job, and then the clients are their job, right?
Yes.
And that's the crux of it. Now, it takes a long time to get there if you're a founder, right? Because you sign the first, in my company, I've signed the first 100 clients, right? First 4,000 clients were, was me talking with them and all that stuff. So I find it's very personal to me, right? Business is not just business for me. It is personal, every piece of it, because it's my life. It's everything that I do.
Yes.
Like, it's 16 hours of my day, every single day of my life. So it is very personal, and it's hard to make those transitions. But I think owners that make that transition are setting themselves up to have legacy companies versus one generation companies. Right,
exactly,
and it's important. And not every company needs to be a generational company. Your kids have to want to take it over, or somebody needs to want to take it over. But you don't want to force your kids into doing something that they don't want to do. But at the same time, I don't think any entrepreneur that I know or business owner that I know starts his business and say, "Hey, this is my job, and I'm just going to do this until I die, and then it'll shut down. And I really don't care."
Right.
There are some people out there like that, but I think most people want to create some kind of legacy.
Right, exactly. Right. And that's the name of the game. That's the name of the impact. It's the impact.
So normally on Clicks and Bricks, I like to talk about striving and thriving, right?
Yeah.
So I think we can take the strive off the plate for this, because I really would like to know, on your mindset, right, how do you find that I'm at 20,000 clients now, how do I do more, right? So a lot of people find a comfortable spot, and this happens in fitness and in business. They get that comfortable spot, and like, oh, I'm paying the bills, everything's good, I can breathe for a second. But I've done that so many times in my life, and then a curveball comes a month later, a week later, a year later, and, oh shit, I gotta get back to hustle. How do you keep from going into cruise control and staying in a thriving mindset when everything seems to be okay?
Find something bigger than yourself to strive for, right? So if I am, like, our biggest thing is, yes, we're at a point now where things are going great. And I'm the same way. You know what? It's hard for me to do the same thing, where I'll get to a point where I'm like, oh, okay, let me put this in neutral real quick. But if I find something, you know what I mean? I'm a very spiritual person, and I try to find something that's going to be bigger. I give you a perfect example, right? So one of my things that I like to do, I got this from Bedros Keuilian. He's a guy I listen to a lot, and he talks about doing a 90-day, basically a 90-day goal sheet, right? Like 90 days of projecting out and saying, what do you want to do? And I found myself this last time when I did it. I said, each month, and I did one personally as well as business-wise. But one thing that I put was each month I wanted to give to, whether it be a charity, whether it be something, something bigger than me. Right. So that it makes me want to, if this month, if I say, okay, I'm going to give, I'm going to treat 4 or 5 families to Thanksgiving, who are less fortunate than I am, right? Then Christmas comes around, I'm going to want to do more. So how am I going to do more? How am I going to do more? And this may sound crazy, but how am I going to do more and keep my bank account looking the same? Well, I have to do more volume. I have to be better. The other side of that is more impact, right? So like we get people who hit us up on Instagram from around the world, and they say, your videos are so inspiring and blah, blah, blah. Well, that is what keeps me going. Hey, people who have never, we had one girl, and she was telling me about how, like, she used our videos to help her to be better in soccer, and how much faster she got. Well, I'm like, you just got that from the videos? You don't even know the half of the details behind it. But I'm glad she did. But that's what allows me to be able to continue to move, to continue to push the needle, to continue to say, okay, what's next? What can we do more? Like, what can we do more of? How can we impact more? Like, and I'll say this real quick. Like, one of our things was, and this is from the athletic performance side, was we had a DM, a direct message on Instagram from a girl in South Africa. And she was telling me how, as far as the sports goes in South Africa, there's no one there to teach them strength and conditioning. There was no one there to teach them about nutrition. There's no one there to teach them about recovery, right? And so, of course, light bulb goes off in my head like, okay, 2022, maybe, hey, maybe we take a trip over to South Africa. Maybe we help the coaches over there. Maybe we help the players over there. But how are we going to do that? Well, we got to get more money. We need more volume. So that's something where we say, okay, that's what keeps me going. That's what allows me to be able to not really get complacent. Or if I start to feel complacent, I say, okay, no, there's people out there who are counting on you. There's people out there who you need to inspire more. There's more people out there, right? So that's how I do it.
And it's true because they're telling you.
Right.
Right? Yeah, right. So fantastic.
It's true, right. It's true because you're telling you. And so when you, from a business mindset, that's what allows me to be able to do it. It's not, I know some may say, whatever it is that's driving you to do it, right? Whatever passion it is that you have that made you start your business, right, and things like that, you find that again. You know what I mean? And make sure you keep a flame under that passion, and you'll never get complacent. You'll never get complacent. Right. So that's my thing.
So I just want to take a little left turn here for a second, or 5 minutes. I don't know how long it's going to go. So you made some big changes in your life, mentally changes, started the meditation, broke some kind of mindset of, okay, I'm going to go in front of the camera. I'm going to put this stuff on Instagram. Every single day, if you're a small business owner, big business owner, doesn't matter, person wants to be an influencer, doesn't matter, you're hearing from the big guys, Gary V's, Mark Cuban's, all those guys, make content at massive scale, right?
Right.
Obviously, you're a go-getter, you're motivated, you're going to make it, you're going to be successful anyway, but how much easier do you think it was today building this business with a tool like Instagram than it would have been 20 or 30 years ago? And how much do you credit the success to those videos and that social media content that you're producing?
Oh my goodness. Wow. I'll say this. I will say this. And you don't even have to go 20, 30 years ago. You can go, what now? You can go maybe, I would say at the most 15 years ago. You can go back to when I started in 2008. Social media was not as big as it is now. There was no Instagram. And so it wasn't as big as it is now. Word of mouth was our biggest thing, right? And that means we were putting out a product that was valuable. And so I feel like this. You put out something that is valuable. You put out something that someone needs. And you hear this a lot with business people. Like, find whatever it is that someone, that people need and make it valuable and market it and all this other stuff. That was 20, 30 years ago. You have successful small businesses because of value, because it was something they had a product that people had, so it was word of mouth. Now, hey, social media, you can, like I said, I'm reaching people around the world. Right. Whereas when I first started the company, we were only reaching people that were, that was in our area. And I was in Fairfax, Virginia at the time, and yet we did well. But then when I expanded out to Alexandria and Arlington, Virginia, then we started doing well then. And of course, then social media started coming. And to be honest with you, that was something where social media, I wasn't a huge person on it. So I wasn't trying to post everything. I was like, oh, I don't need, I'm an old head. I was like, I don't need social media. I got word of mouth. Well, I did need social media. But the thing about it was, it still came down to the value of whatever product, whatever service that you're doing. It still comes down to the people that you're serving. It comes down to the people who you have on your team. You know what I mean? And so Yeah, it's for business owners. It really just comes down to that value. It really just comes down to adding that value to someone's life, or you know what I mean, and what it is your service and your product does.
Right.
And that's key. That's key.
Absolutely. So, and just to summarize that, you have to be able to create a value of some kind. If your product or service doesn't create value,
yes,
you're in the wrong business. You got to get rid of it, right? So, and then what you have to do is tell a bunch of people about it and tell them about the value that you create, and not just a bunch of people, but the exact right people. And social media lets you do that, right?
Yes.
And it's not a world. We're not selling Wrigley bubble gum anymore to every person in the country, right? You're selling your product or your service to the person that is to your key clients, right?
Yep.
You have that key client, and I urge every business owner to really take and just beat the heck out of what that key client is. And you have more than one of them. Like, I have this conversation with so many business owners every day, like, oh, well, my product's for everybody. I'm like, okay, well, you can't market to everybody, or you market to nobody.
Exactly.
Right? So
exactly.
Let's just go through the exercise and just pick your favorite client. Who do you like working with the most, right? Or who your most profitable client is. And really just go through that whole process of building that avatar. And you might have, it sounds silly, I probably have 100 avatars of people that we market to and different things, right? And some of them work well and some of them are horrible.
Right.
But I can take the same exact copy to two different audiences, and one of them works really well and one of them is horrible. So I hate people tell me every day, I hear this, Facebook doesn't work, Instagram doesn't work, and it's just you don't know how to use it. And
you got to find your niche.
Right.
You have to find your niche.
And mostly, it's not how to use the tool, it's about how to do business in today's online world, where you can talk to the exact person that you want to talk to, but you have to really talk to them. You can't be generic. You can't make an ad for a 40-year-old guy and make it generic. You have to talk to him very, very specifically in your ads, right? And everything you do. So it's got to be your whole voice. So I think it's really cool that you were able to use the tools that we have today to really scale that business up. I don't think numbers like 20 or 30,000 for any kind of fitness arena, unless you're like a mega box gym, are realistic numbers without online tools, right?
Yep.
So I think today we live in such a cool time that we get to do all this. I mean, it's scary, right? There's jobs losing all over the place, robots are taking over jobs, all this stuff. It's very scary stuff, but the opportunities are limitless right now. They're just all over the place. For a guy like me, it's too much opportunity. But and I'm like giving people ideas. Like, you need an idea for a business? I'll give you one. Like, I'll give you 10.
I'm the same way. I'm the exact same way, man.
That I know will crush it if you just follow my directions. It's gonna be so much fun. But I digress there. So finally, the last question of the day, and since we're ending on the technology and the social media, how do you see technology changing this industry? Maybe it's a year out, 5 years out, 10 years out. As an entrepreneur and a business owner, we have to be thinking about, what is my business looking like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and technology is going to play a significant role in how our businesses are ran. Right now, we're living in an even stranger time where our technology is growing really fast, and our entire social structure appears to be going through a significant change.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So, and I'm not a sociologist by far, but just by being a casual observer of the world, we're going through some pretty big changes in how we act, communicate, socialize, and all those things. And technology is playing a huge role in that. How do you think technology is going to change the fitness industry in the near or far future?
I think one of the things that I really is what we saw during the pandemic. And I remember scrolling on Instagram one day, and I'm getting all these different ads for, people who have they have a platform where you can broadcast, where you can do your on-demand program, on-demand classes, and bring it right to their student. I believe that's where we're at, and where we're going to continue to go to. Subscriptions are huge now. You know what I mean? Especially in our industry. So subscriptions are one of the biggest things that are huge now, and we're looking to get into that game come January. And so I think for our industry, it really just is going to be a little more, I won't say the box gyms are going to go away. I just think that they're going to be a little more few and far between. I think that that technology now has allowed people to see that there are various types of different types of training, right? So like there's a gym in DC or in the DC area where they really, just gear towards powerlifters, and they do volume. They gear towards the powerlifters and the bodybuilders and things like that, right? So like, that's where, but no one would have found it if it wasn't for social media. And now all of a sudden they found this gym where everybody loves it and it's their home and all this and all this other stuff. I think from that standpoint, from the virtual training standpoint, which is a huge one, that virtual training is so big. Right. It's so big. So I think the industry is going to change it's going to become a little bit more virtual. It's going to become a little bit, which means it's going to be more convenient. But the other part too, I think where it's going to really change is more tech companies or more software companies are going to develop these different types of platforms and programs that's going to do this and it's going to do this and it's going to help the business owner do this and it's going to help you and it's going to make your life easier as a business owner, which is going to make the life easier for the clients. And I think that's where we're at. We're just going to a very virtual place. I just do. I just think that's it. That's just going to be our thing. You're going to have niche everything. Like somebody had I kid you not, I could be wrong, but there's a specific studio where you just come in and foam roll. I read about it.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
I do foam rolling classes.
Yes.
Because people don't know how to do them.
So
I don't do them. I pay people that know how to do it properly. I'm not the trainer there, but I pay a trainer to do the foam rolling classes. Absolutely.
But but again, creating a niche, right? Creating a niche and creating value, or finding a niche and creating value. That's what we've gone to, and so somebody will pay for that. Somebody will, that's just how it is.
On that note, my wife just changed her Instagram name to Plank Lady, and she's just doing planks every day, right? And I'm like, go for it,
go for it,
just go for it. She likes doing planks, and so she's Plank Lady on Instagram, and that's started a pretty decent little trend for her, right? And she's got some pretty massive social media accounts that we don't talk about all the time, but because. Unfortunately, controversial Instagram accounts are the easiest thing to grow. So, but business and beliefs don't always have to coincide with each other. Sometimes it can just be fun. Sometimes it can just be to see if you can do it, right? Just taste it. Like, hey, am I going to like this thing or not, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, fantastic. Thank you so much for your input.
No problem.
I think as far as the gym industry goes for technology, my thoughts are the future is going to be very boutique brick and mortars with some kind of high-tech coupling, right? And I don't know what that is. And your instructors are going to be many celebrities, right? I don't know if we have, we got the ABC class celebrity, maybe it's a D class celebrity that a couple thousand fans that really follow them. And I can promise you a couple thousand real fans is a ton of money for you if you know how to monetize it, right? You don't have to have 30,000, 100,000 fans. You can make a really, really great living off 1,000 real followers, like people that actually follow you and do those things. It's a wild difference when you're building actual fans of your brand and product to just providing a service. So it's a huge difference. Do you have anything to leave the audience with before we go?
Oh, let me think. Man, that's a good question. That's one of the on-the-spot questions I had to think about. But you know what? Really, what it comes down to, from a business owner, it's really just, whether you're a startup, find your passion. You know what I mean? Whatever you're going to be passionate about, because that passion is what's going to get you out of the bed in the morning. That passion is what's going to allow you to put your all into it. That passion is what's going to, what's going to keep you moving forward, even when things just aren't going your way. You know what I mean? I know as a business owner, you know, hey, my moods are like this. They're up and down. You know what I mean? Especially when I first started. Now, you know, now I've gotten to a point now where it's just like, I just love what I do. You know what I mean? I really, you know, I've always loved what I do, but now that I sit back, I'm like, wow, you know, I really love what I do, and I'm really blessed to be able to be in this position. And so for, you know, people who are startups, hey, and even people who are still have been in business for years, you know, keep that passion going. Find something, find a bigger purpose for your business so that you can continue to grow. And that's something, you know, it's movement is definite, and growth is optional. And that's something that, you know, people say, well, what do you mean? Because you have to opt into growth. You have to want to grow. You can still move forward and be like, I'm still the same old person. I'm still the same old business owner. Grow. You know what I mean? And so, you know, find your passion. And if you already have your passion, find something that's going to keep fueling that passion.
Right. And if you're a young business guy or lady, doesn't matter, and you're struggling today, I promise you, when I was younger, I would have a $100,000 problem, and it seemed like the end of the world. I'd literally be calling my board crying, like, what the hell's going on? I don't know what to do. You know, and now I've had so many $100,000 problems, it's just like, okay, I know how to handle this. Right? It's okay. Exactly. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Like, it's okay. Like, we just got to keep moving forward, keep growing. Right? Those things they're going to keep happening.
Adversity is the biggest teacher.
Yeah,
adversity is the biggest teacher. So just look at it as your lesson and keep going.
You'll get comfortable with those things. They're scary. The first time you deal with something, it's super scary. Like, oh my gosh, right? And then I had one board member on one of these things. I was really sick and I couldn't handle the stress. I was just beat down, and it was a lease renewal for like a 60,000 square foot space, and I'm like, man, I just can't deal with this. And he looks at me and goes, nothing we're doing is going to put us in jail or kill us. So just relax.
There you go.
It's okay. Just relax. We'll figure this all out. It's okay. So I think, thank you for your input today. I think health and wellness for business owners is so important. And I think, you know, we need more people like you out there preaching this stuff, and then really lining these best business practices up. So we have entrepreneurship's only going to grow, and solopreneur entrepreneurship is going to grow drastically over the next 5 to 10 years. And I think the next generation needs to know that they need to have these skills on how to strive and thrive. And I think it's wildly important. And I wish that I would have started from a place of mindset and health 20 years ago, whereas I was, you know, chasing ladies and happy hours all night, right? So my happy hours didn't end until next morning most of the time. So, but
you got it,
so I you know, if I would have started there, where would I be today? Who knows? But I'm grateful that I'm at where I'm at today, and I think that's an important task too, is to be grateful for where you're at today in your journey and your growth, and keep growing. That's it for today's show, folks. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, this is Clicks and Bricks. Get to work.